What popular rumor in your school turned out to be true? Two of the science teachers douche rooms together. Found out cause one of their sons was a student. Edit. Apparently this happens a lot. This was in Norcal. Mayo they are just collaborating with their curriculums. In middle school. There was a rumor my 7th-8th grade social studies teacher owned a pet donkey. Turned out to be true. The donkey's name was Pedro the Donkey. I am so glad there are some wholesome content after 99% comments of teachers students fucking. Some girl had sex with her half-brother. We all thought it was rumor until she got drunk at a party and told everyone. Same in my school, but they were actually brothers. Deleted. Deleted. Which episode? The new teacher was rumored to be a pedophile. We found out it was true when he got arrested just a couple days into the second semester. How did the rumors even start? This was a rumor that went around my elementary school. Basically my school had a lockdown, but they didn't tell us what it was for. One kid came in the next day and told us that his sister said it was a cow in the field in between the high school and middle school. So my 2nd grade class went and told everyone else in the school. The next day we had an assembly that confirmed this rumor. Hahaha, this one's kinda funny. Hopefully the cow got taken off the field safely. A young lady wanked off her pet dog at a house party. I heard it was true when I went to talk to her. Because she was in my friend circle. I said, hey. Just so you know, I don't believe those disgusting rumors going around that you blew a dog. That's just awful. I don't know who would even come up with something like that. And she up and said, yeah. I didn't blow him, I just tugged him off a bit. Stunned silence. Edit. Please stop asking what country state school this was. For one thing, I'm not trying to out the dog wanker. Plus I'm not going to thereby say what high school I myself went to. But most importantly, every time one of you guesses incorrectly, that's just another unfortunate incident of pet molestation I'm now aware of. One incident was enough. Too much. Even. In middle school. We had a cool social studies teacher. He loved the popular boys. Especially the athletes. And not only ignored bullying in his classes of unpopular kids. He often took part in it. He also offered up his services for tutoring to these boys. Everyone always thought he was a child molester. Except the popular boys who would threaten you if they heard you talk bad about him. When we came back to school at the beginning of 8th grade. He was gone. As was one of the more popular boys in school. He transferred to an insanely expensive private school. Turns out. Sure enough. He was molested by the teacher several times during tutoring sessions at the teacher's house. The school district agreed to pay to send the kid to private school as part of a settlement. Oof, that's gonna affect the kid hard. Hope the kid is okay. Our freshman science teacher was a massive jerk to any girl. And would frequently throw the dress code book at girls for the slightest issue. Everyone said it was because he was pissed his daughter became a stripper. That ended up being true. My middle school math teacher, married man, was having an affair with one of the special education teachers. Went on for years. After I graduated high school. He killed himself when the other woman gave him an ultimatum. Confirmed by a family member that worked as a substitute teacher. Coincidentally, said family member also had an affair with another employee there that resulted in that employee shooting herself in front of my mother. What a roller coaster of events. We had heard an underclassman, she was 15-ish, was sleeping with a local army guy. But nobody really believed it until the day our school got locked down. BC her boyfriend showed up with a knife. The boyfriend, in his 30s, was intending to force her go get an abortion. But our principal was a badass who locked her in his office. Then took the boyfriend down and held him in a headlock until the cops arrived. Edit. This absolutely was a case of statutory rape. I use the term boyfriend BC, that's how she still refers to him. And I didn't think about changing it. My bad. I apologize if I angered anyone. That's a very badass principal indeed. The band teacher was having a long-term affair with one of the students. We were in 8th grade. Her parents apparently knew about it all along and were fine with it. But one of the other band parents noticed inappropriate behavior when she was helping chaperone a Disney trip they were all on. It was big news, lol. Why are the parents okay with it? What happened to the teacher afterwards? I had a science teacher that was rumored to get a boner whenever he started shouting. We thought it was a myth until we noticed it for real. He would always try put one leg up on a chair to hide it. Paige was pregnant. None of us believed her. We were 13 and we were just about to start sex ed classes in a few weeks to learn about sex, so we all thought she was making it up. Then she started to gain weight, but she had always been kind of overweight, and so no one really believed her then either. Then she brought sonogram pictures, and because she was sick of people not believing her, most people believed her after that. Then she got taken out of school, and this was back when FB was super popular and everyone was talking about her baby. A few months later she had posted all these pictures. Sorry, I didn't believe you, Paige. I looked her back up when I was 15. She had a second kid. Reminds of the first day of health class my freshman year. The teacher said, "Jane Doe. Is Jane Doe here?" A classmate said out loud, "Yeah, she had a baby yesterday." The teacher went, "Okay. You called her," said that privately. Everyone knew she was a 14-year-old teen mom when she came back to class. She later dropped out sophomore year. That a girl in my grade gave her older brother a BJ with Pop Rocks in her mouth for $50. Her fiancé confirmed it for us years later. Turns out it's a fetish of hers. The Pop Rocks. Not the incest. Kinda wild that not only would someone get engaged to a mate with a known history of doing that, but also talk about it and confirm rumors. My fiancé is a total freak, bro. Oh, by the way, it's $75 without the family discount. Deleted. Would be a good Breaking Bad sequel. That this hot chick at my school was banging 2 army recruiters. Found out it was true when they were on the news being arrested. One of them ran to, I think, Michigan with his wife and kids. Imagine trying to explain to your wife that you need to uproot everything including your kids and flee to another state because you fucked a high schooler. The band director was grooming and seducing his favorite female percussionists. Edit. Apparently this is something of a common occurrence. Anywho. He finally got caught with one of the girls in his car late at night. I was being a father figure. Mentor. Yada yada yada. Everyone knew the real story. He lost his job and personally I've never heard about him since. That I'm a lesbian. IDK how this 7th and 8th grade motherfuckers at 2 different schools knew before I did. When I was in 4th grade this new kid came to school. And he way gay. Like flaming. Stereotypical. Where are the cameras because this is 90s sitcom gay. Gay. Most of us hadn't even started puberty yet. But still. This little boy was gay. He liked doing most of the other stuff little boys liked doing. Not very athletic. Kinda nerdy, so we got along real well. Anyway. Near as I can tell. That gay little boy grew up to be a gay man. There was always a rumor that the head janitor was a huge pothead and would smoke with students in one of the storage sheds away from the main building. I always figured it was bullshit until my friend CJ sent me a pic of him and the janitor smoking weed while surrounded by folding chairs. Taylor's mom gave Mark a handy during football practice. How did you find out it was true? One of the teachers was banging a student. They got caught the year he left, but it was rumored 3 years before that. Rumor was a particular freshman girl could fist herself. Seemed outlandish. She was kind of quiet and nerdy. Dated her the next year. Once had a girl in 8th grade, same as me, who wanted me to fist her. That was years ago. I went snooping on Facebook and Mayan. Saying she's open about sex is an understatement. Kinda a funny one. There was an ongoing rumor joke that there was a pool on the roof of the gym. The rumor started because the swim team would do their stretches up there before heading to the actual pool across town. Don't know why they did it up there. The year that I graduated was also the last year of that gym because it was going to be demolished. During the last few weeks of school, the swim team actually snuck a small kiddie pool up there and left it there till the school officially closed for summer break. I knew about it because I've got friends on the swim team. Pool on the roof just reminds me of hackers. That a science teacher used to be a stripper. New physics teacher was a total creep. The old spidey sense kicked in for all of us. We could all tell something was wrong with the guy. Most of us dropped the class. Plus he sucked as a teacher and everyone was failing. Years later I stumbled across a news article saying the teacher was fired and arrested for videotaping girls in the classroom through the use of camera hidden in the classroom. Mostly aimed at cleavage and upskirt short shots. We knew he was a weirdo. Time always tells the tale. In high school, that the biology teacher was growing weed in the environmental lab. Supposedly he did it for 30 years without anyone noticing. No one could ever prove it though. Later on, I was assigned to be the agent taking care of some of his financial matters. So I went to his house to have him sign some paperwork. He had a hydroponic setup there. So I asked him about the environmental lab. It was like Han Solo in The Force Awakens. It's true. All of it. Then he offered me a brownie. Did you accept it? That one of the students was actually a cop. Turns out he was a cop and busted one of the actual students for selling handguns in school. If you thought 21 Jump Street was unrealistic, think again. Cop was a 33-year-old male and undercover for like half the semester. In my Catholic Jesuit high school, one of the priests and one of the nuns were very close friends. We all loved them. And we could see that they were quite fond of one another, and they made a really nice looking couple. We used to affectionately kid them about meeting in the tunnel between the convent and the rectory. A few years after my class graduated, they both left their orders, got married, and had kids. We're all happy for them. That's actually really sweet. My high school janitor was my baby brother's dad. How did you find out? Some teachers spread some rumors that I won't be successful in life. You good bro? Removed. There was in fact a gay brotherhood that would meet up to have orgs in the trades building. Edit. Yes, I see the typo. No, I won't change it. Dude, I fucking love orgs. Vice principal was checking out female students and taking pics. He got fired. Deleted. Father Barnes got Sister Mary pregnant. How did this got found out? One of our teachers were fucking a rich student's dad for expensive cars and other shit. Heard her talk about it in the hallway on her phone. I went to a private school and we had a similar incident. They hired an art teacher that wasn't very good at art, and within like 3 months one of the students' parents had filed for divorce and the art teacher was dating the dad. They got engaged towards the end of the year and she quit. They got married the following Christmas and she immediately got pregnant. It was pretty obvious to everyone why she took the job in the first place. Biology teacher decided to use a scientific method to personally prove or disprove to himself that humans could photosynthesize. He did this by laying bare ass naked on his front lawn, landing him a public nudity charge, all in the name of science. That one of the seniors in my school wrote all over the men's room bathroom about bringing a bomb to school. The bomb squad evacuated us all. Dogs came and they found one in a random locker. It was absolutely nuts. Kid got arrested 2 seats next to me in English class a couple of days later once they could prove he did it. Deleted. That I stole a pen. The rumor was freaking buzzing, but man, it was like the worst pen in the school, so it was not worth stealing that pen. There must not be much going on there at that school. That blows, man. My AppSGov teacher was the daughter of Phil Jackson. We all believed it, and during his last Lakers game her and her family was there and shown on screen. Got a screenshot of her at the game and shared with some friends. We all knew for sure then, but we never really brought it up to be respectful, as she didn't like the attention for it. That one of the gym teachers was a pedo. He was found having sex with someone to raise their grades. And then there was a list of students found when his private office was searched. But it's gym. How hard is it to pass gym? The captain of the cheerleader squad got a breasts reduction to go from H cups to DD. Oh. And also, some relatively unknown girl did porn on her senior year spring break after she turned 18, and this was 25 years ago. So she had to send letters and photos in the mail to set it up. Deleted. How did you find out about it? That this girl at my school who was maybe 16 was banging all the older kids who never left for college. Well, she definitely was, and everyone found out when she banged one of the cooler guys still in high school, and there ended up being a herpes outbreak at my school. Nearly 40 people got herpes, lol. One summer, we came back to school and noticed that the very popular drumline instructor and one of the female drumline members, 16 years old, had both disappeared. Obviously, we jumped to the conclusion that there was an inappropriate relationship going on. Just a few years ago, I was sitting next to a band teacher at a bar, and I relayed this story. He confirmed that it was true. Apparently this kid in our class could fill a Pringles can with his dick. No one believed it until a girl confirmed it. Her eyes when she talked about it was like a soldier remembering war stories. Oh, poor kid. If his dick is that big, most of his partners will be in pain. That the butch bully of my school was going to stab me. The teachers found her 3 days after an altercation I had with one of her lackeys waiting on the oval for me to come to school and showing the knife to a big group of kids in my year level. I'd refused to go to school after the fight, thankfully. She got a week's suspension. Only a week? For bringing a knife to school and bragging about wanting to stab someone with it? I got 3 weeks for throwing a desk at someone. Rumor that a new freshman girl, I was sophomore or junior, was caught shooting heroin in girls' room. 10-20 years later, talking casually to a woman in a business setting saying she started school where I was but caught early using heroin in bathroom. It was a deal breaker with the school for some square reason. She didn't know I heard the rumor, I didn't tell her either. Her family was loaded and she, a freshman, drive to school in a Porsche Jaguar. I remember that rumor too. Definitely same chick. When I talked to her, she was still kinda riding the crest of her family's money and would probably have that safety net, unlike most of us who took the bus and wore the same clothes once a week. She was nice but a bit jaded emo, but I said nothing. I was shocked at how casually she told a stranger she had been was a heroin user. This was back in like 1985ish. Never saw her again. That the creepy track coach computer teacher with a Corvette and a hair transplant, worst case of midlife crisis I've ever personally seen, was banging an underage student. Mr. Tucker. The student fucker. Principal Lassiter had spray on hair. There was a family in my town that fostered or adopted all their kids. Everyone had known one of their daughters since she was quite young, and then they adopted another girl her age when we were in 8th grade. They did not get along. When the original girl developed epilepsy a few years later, her new sister claimed she was faking and everyone thought she was so fucking mean and ostracized her. Eventually, she had to fess up to faking the seizures all along when she signed up for basic training, which she never even completed. Unfortunately, this was after we all graduated, so we never got to apologize to her sister. That Ryan's mom fucked his friends. Found out it was true when I fucked Ryan's mom. Ryan's mom has got it going on. 2 brothers ran a train on 2 girls who were sisters in the back of a car. Apparently they all got very close that day. Can you run a train with just 2 guys? That the science teacher and music teacher were having an affair. They got married in year 9. One of my mum's best friends is an old teacher of mine and she asked me if my head knew. I was head 8 when it happened. I was in the class when one of the boys asked her if she gave blowjobs to the science teacher. She burst into tears and left. This woman had been the one to come in and yell at us but somehow forgot I was there. The severely overweight, married English teacher invited 2 boys for a double penetration orgy. She was fired and they were suspended. Was cheating on her BF with college guys. She was 16. Going on 17 at the time. Here's a 2-for-1. First was that one of the kids in my grade way gay. Even back then, most people didn't care, so I didn't think anything of it. Second was that one of the kids hung himself on a swing set in a local park. They didn't say who it was, and just thought it was a vicious rumor about the same guy. Then 4 girls who were close to him came down the stairwell crying and ran out the front door and started heading in the direction of the park. It was confirmed around noon. We were sent home after lunch. Our science teacher was having an affair with our science technician and regularly left the class to have sex with her in the technician's room. That rumor started day 1. Then 4 years. 2 divorces and 2 very quick departures later it was confirmed, and what was left behind was a technician's daughter in my year whose life had fallen apart. What was left behind was a technician's daughter in my year whose life had fallen apart. That's just sad. That the theater teacher liked to kiss young boys and then swear them to secrecy. Figured it was just a rumor that got out of hand. He registered as a sex offender in 2014. He also, obviously, lost his job. The school principal ended up resigning too because she had heard the rumors of him kissing boys before and had done nothing. Pretty surprising considering he was a really dedicated teacher, and I even got to be in a few shows he directed and it was fun. Such a shame that our school would get shot up one day. What happened? That this one gym teacher was a pervert. Turns out he actually fucked a student, and when it got out, He tried to flee to Mexico but got arrested at the border. There was a rumor that my buddy Todd got caught sticking a toilet plunger up his anus. I didn't believe it. About a month later I spent the night at his house. We snuck some of his parents' beers and got a bit drunk. After we went to bed he got up and left the bedroom. After about 30 minutes I got up to investigate. I just wanted to make sure he was okay. Saw him looking into his parents' room, who were having sex. Unfortunately, I can also confirm the plunger story to be true. Yes. I got dressed and walked home in the dark. Wait, he was creeping on his parents with a plunger up his rear? In high school there was this freshman that had gotten a reputation for getting around. Never talked to her but unfortunately everyone kind of judged for it. Later in the year there was a rumor that she shoved a curling iron up her vagina and filmed. It was just kind of a funny rumor, but then a couple weeks later the guy she sent it to sent out the video and by the end of that day everyone in the school had seen it. It was weird. She also took a horse tranquilizer before school and had a seizure during class. Hope she's doing well. A large number of the kids on C-team baseball gave each other handjobs and fingered each other's ass on their way to back from a game. The actual number of guys involved is still a mystery, but it was at least 5. I wish I was making this up. Also, an English teacher was taking his students on trips to a big city an hour south of us. The official word is that he only dated them after they graduated. But we all know there was more going on with at least 2 of the 3 confirmed girls he dated. That I wrote my name in permanent marker on the history teacher's overhead projector. Why would I write my own name on the projector? That doesn't make any sense. Someone else wrote it to set me up, I said. But I was only acting. It was I who wrote it. Mad lad. Mr. and Mrs. Dickoff, teachers, had a daughter named Tara. It's true. https imgur com b9j8s3f jpg. See in Australia. We don't pronounce Tara the same as in America. So this joke took me a long time to work out. And my name is Tara. A former teacher at my school used to smuggle Bibles across the border into China. This was back in the 80s when China was just starting to open up. The head lunch lady was stealing from the kids. Turns out the last year I was there she had stolen more than 100k from us. How did she steal from the kids? There was a rumor that a teacher had sex with whole basketball team. Turns out it was half of the team. Worst part is her son was on the team. Her husband ended up divorcing her and her son left with his dad. A rumor that our school's senior prank of 2018 was going to be putting rotisserie chickens in every toilet in the school except the special needs bathroom, came about around halfway through second semester up until the end of the year, and lo and behold, it happened. At least they were considerate of the ones who weren't able to deal with it. There was a rumor that my high school health teacher got dunked on by Kobe Bryant when he was in high school. He played varsity basketball at my HS, which is in the same district as the one that Kobe went to. Whenever people brought it up in class he would deny it and get really mad. Sure enough, someone found an old highlight tape on YouTube of Kobe from high school and there was my health teacher getting posterized by the legend himself. Getting your ass kicked by a famous sports star is pretty much always seen as cool though. I knew several people who bragged about getting whooped by Tim Tebow in high school, for example. The 2 teachers everybody thought were fucking were in fact fucking. Then they got married and she changed her last name, which was weird. The history teacher really was getting high W students and fucking them. When I was in 8th grade, the kids used to always joke that our English F and history M teachers were flirting with each other. The following year, they actually left their respective spouses and got married. When we started doing Gexer drama there was a male teacher and a new female teacher started that year, and we used to joke that her and the male teacher were having an affair. 1 year later the male teacher had divorced his wife and him and the female teacher were now a couple. That the new kid was a D agent undercover. Yup. He even took his real life wife to prom. Deleted. 2 rumors. The new pay coach was dating a girl in my grade. Later confirmed after graduation. They're married with 2 kids now. The orchestra teacher was sleeping with football players. Everyone said it was true and I wouldn't put it past her. There was a rumor a teacher had a boner a lot and spat on students. I didn't believe it until he turned out to be my maths teacher one year. Ended up being the only student in my class who avoided getting spat on because I would give him a wide berth if he tried to talk to me. He stood in front of my desk a few times and yes, sometimes there was a bulge. Shit went down after I left that school and he mysteriously disappeared. The goth freshman liked to fist herself. She is a camera model now. If you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. That two pay teachers, one of them married, at my former middle school were indeed having an affair despite denying it at the time. Back in high school we had a new principal. It was rumored that he was a big and strong man who could throw telephone poles. It turns out he participated in the Highland Games and tossed cabers. There was a rumor that this teacher was always really close to the cheerleaders cause he was sexually attracted to them. This is middle school BTW. It turned out to be true and he was fired on the spot. At our school this one kid was rumored to be a son of one of the local gym's amateur boxer teacher. None of us had no real reason to think twice about it. Once we got to high school this kid started teasing that kid. I had a couple of mutual friends with the bully so I warned the guy he might want to let up on teasing him. A couple days go by the dude didn't stop. And the boxer's kid proceeded to give this guy one of the worst one-sided fights I have ever seen. The bully learned his lesson and never bullied anyone else for the rest of our high school years. So it turned out to be true. On the 16th of March 2020, we had a half day in school and everyone were panicking that the school will be closed because of COVID-19 and we won't even have our exams. Turns out it actually became true. It will be a year tomorrow since I went to school. Band director was sleeping with a student. Confirmed when police officers showed up and walked him out of class and we never saw him again. Not my high school, but the one in the town I lived in. This happened years after I left high school. But small towns and rumors go hand in hand. There was a rumor that one of the teachers was having relationships with his students. I always thought he was creepy. But that was as far as I thought it went. Until local PD showed up and walked him out in handcuffs for having sex with 14-year-old girls. Happened in my small hometown too. I had known the dude since childhood. He was a friend's older brother, and always gave me the creeps. She had a pool. And he would always come when we were swimming and hold my head underwater until I was struggling for air. Which I now realize meant my flailing usually meant me touching him. He caught me by the legs once and pulled me toward him. And given that I was 10 and in an insanely conservative town, I was afraid I had gotten pregnant from my bathing suit parts brushed against his. He went to jail for a while, but keeps on having kids. There was a rumor that this kid helped murder a guy during a robbery. It was a small town. And the day after the robbery murder it seemed like everyone at school was talking about this kid being involved. Someone else was convicted. An older former student. And the rumor sort of faded out. We all graduated. Some of us moved away. And the rest of us avoided the psycho. A decade or so later, he was arrested and convicted of the murder when his accomplice flipped on him to get parole. That a firing squad of girls lined up and blew a line of guys in middle school. WTF LOL. The biology teacher was a magic snow wizard. Dude always predicted when there would be a snow day. Pretty much without fail. You had students asking each other for his snow predictions when they didn't have a class with him that year. Nick killed his mom. Nick indeed killed his mom. That the art teacher was cheating on her husband with the art technician. The marriage broke up and they ended up in a relationship. Lacey had pierced nipples. No one believed her and she eventually got so fed up she proved us wrong. That our English teacher slept with a student every year at the grad party. We found out this, amongst other things, was true when he was arrested for possession of child porn. Our English teacher and the head football jock were involved. He was over 18 but I don't know if that matters. Don't mean shit. He is legal. But it becomes illegal as the teacher is in a position of power, influence etc. over them. Not mine. But my dad's. There was a rumor that there were tunnels underneath the school and that they went across the whole campus. There were, in fact, tunnels underneath the school. My dad and his buddies found an entrance covered by some bushes when they were throwing around a football. The thing was bolted up with chains. So they drove into town, bought some bolt cutters, came back, and found their way into the tunnels. The tunnels spanned most of the school, and were relatively clean. As he tells it, they mostly just led to janitor closets and storage rooms around campus. He used them to pull pranks when he attended. Wasn't ever caught. But the administration figured that him and his crew knew about them. At least. That the rock teacher was having sex with one of his 13-14-year students. The librarian and the weird science teacher were screwing. Half the school didn't believe it. Until they came back after Christmas. Married.